Wow, the God Valley Royale. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I never thought there would be a flashback that would surpass Nolan's flashback for me. And then I was seeing Kazuki Oden's flashback, and that was just amazing with Whitebeard, Roger, and of course seeing Laugh-Tale and seeing Oden's journey through Wano and outside of Wano and back to his fight with Kaido. I was like, there's nothing that's gonna surpass the hour of Oden boiling. But if I'm being honest, God Valley in this Loki Herald flashback on Elbaf, this is the greatest flashback I have ever witnessed in the One Piece story. And I'm not saying that as overhyping it. It actually is. And I'll debate you guys if you have a problem with that. So today we discuss this recent installment of One Piece that has had me so hyped for days since it came out. I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments as well. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, we're so close to 100k subscribers. And join the Noti gang as we do a deep dive on the recent One Piece chapter. So of course, the first thing I have to talk about in this One Piece chapter is the final page. Seeing Garp confused about this island after Imu showed up through Saturn. And you have to understand, Monkey D. Garp, 38 years later, was still a part of the Marines after witnessing all this on God Valley. Yes, he doesn't like celestial dragons, but I feel like this man knows more than he's leading off. And of course, he was kind of ignorant on God Valley, and I'll cut him some slack because he was just trying to get Roger. But he witnessed this and he called Sengoku. So that was amazing seeing at the end of this chapter Garp's reaction. Then there's Roger. Roger made me feel so good. I don't know what it was. No Diddy. But when he said he was hyped up for this adventure, like Luffy talking about all the adventurous twists that he's went through, seeing Roger talk about this adventurous twist on God Valley, even though it's such a dark and negative aura moment, gave Roger aura, if I'm being completely honest. Like Roger got the most aura in this last page, in my opinion, than anybody. Even though in this flashback, it is the Rocks flashback. Rocks is the king of aura in this flashback. And in this chapter, Rocks is pretty much the W in this chapter. But in this statement, when it comes to making me feel some type of way, or Roger made me feel some type of way when he's talking about adventure, because that gave me Luffy vibes, if I'm being honest. Then there's Rocks, who says, pretty much to Whitebeard, when asked, what the hell are we facing? Rocks said, it's the world. As he looks at Imu 18 years later after he killed an admiral and confronted Imu and left and told Imu, I'll be back. And then of course confronted Kangarasaki Coded, clashed with King Harold, one of the strongest characters in this series, might I add. And yes, Rocks is now looking at Imu again on God Valley, and he's saying it's the world. And don't forget when Saturn asked what the Blackbeard Pirates were after, of course Van Augur said the world, showing that Blackbeard is inherited from his father Rocks. And of course Saturn mentioned the Special Ninja as well when Kanari Devon was speaking about it too. So telling you guys right now, this whole Buccaneer connection and the Willie D and Davy Jones and Imu, there's so much lore in this God Valley flashback that we're kind of overlooking because of how many hype characters are all on this island. And let me talk about Saturn. Saturn said he's scared something else will be unleashed, and Imu was scared as well, saying it can happen, as Kaido was flying in the sky. Makes me think they're talking about Nika. The reason why it looks like they're talking about Nika is because you have to understand, there's two legendary Devil Fruits that Rocks mentioned earlier. It's King, of course, Harold's Devil Fruit that he's not eaten yet, but he has on Elbaf, that legendary Devil Fruit. And of course, it's the Nika Fruit. And we all know the Nika Fruit, Luffy fought Kaido with Gear 5 in the Nika Fruit. And seeing Kaido fly in the sky while Imu and Saturn are shook, it makes me think they're alluding to Nika. Like, you have to understand, there is the fear of the Davy clan, the fear of the Buccaneer, the fear of Rocks D. Zebek, Gold D. Roger, Monkey D. Garp. There's all these Willie D members. But no, what truly has Imu fearful is Joy Boy, who was the Nika. And we saw the fear of Naked Island. So I think that's what Saturn and Imu are referencing. And I wonder if that Delphi was on this island. That would be insane if that was a plot point, guys, because we know there's so many legendary Delphi on God Valley. I think that would be cool as hell. And we have to talk about it. You guys know I love talking about power scaling, so I'm not just gonna talk about lore and how this chapter brought some insane lore. Garling. And you guys all know I personally believe Garling is currently the strongest Gorosei member. The reason why is because he was champion at God Valley as one of the strongest characters on that island. And then, of course, 38 years later, he became a Gorosei member. of course, bestowed upon some demonic powers by Imu. So I just thought, okay, Garling has to be the strongest amongst the Gorosei, even though Workery and Venus Juru are extremely hype. But now, Garling gets wrecked by Rox. And I was not just a regular person, it's Rox. Rox who was above Roger, Garp, and Whitebeard. And like that's how strong Rox is. Rox is who killed an admiral. Rox who clashed with King Harold so multiple times. Yes, this beast of a man, Rox, is the one who actually defeated Garling. But he gets wrecked by Rox. It's not even a high diff fight, guys. And people are gonna say, whoa, how are we gonna talk about how Blackbeard's father just killed Shanks' father? Well, he didn't kill him, but he just destroyed him. And I like it how pretty much Rox says to Garling, how dare you go after my family? We all know that Rox actually killed his family members that were demons as well, his father, his grandma, and amongst many Davy clan members. Rox killed them all, this demon army. Garling had help, Garling had regenerative powers, and Rox, that was nothing to phase him. And this is why I believe this could only mean two things. Garling is not the strongest Gorosei, Workery and Venus Juru are back up in that running, or another thing. Maybe Rox is just built that different. The same way that Imu is way stronger than the Gorosei. Maybe Rox is just way stronger than the Gorosei as well. And his level is Imu level. Maybe Rox is Imu's level or close to Imu's level. But don't forget what they said when the Imu's Haki reached God Valley. And we saw Whitebeard and Kaido and Rox looking at the world. And Roger getting hyped and Garp confused. Yeah, a lot to talk about in this chapter. And as a fan, I have to be honest here, guys. When it comes to the two legendary wars in the current One Piece story, we have Marineford War and the Onigashima Raid. The reason why these wars are so epic is because Marineford, you had 3 admirals and the entire Marine force of the warlords versus the Yonko crew and Whitebeard, the world's strongest man. In the Onigashima Raid, you had 2 Yonko and Big Mom and Kaido versus the worst generation and the samurai of Wano. These are the 2 most impactful wars in the current One Piece timeline. But if I'm being honest, guys, here, the main characters of those 2 wars were Kaido and Whitebeard. Yes, Whitebeard of Marineford and Kaido of Wano. And seeing them alongside Rox on God Valley, not running away, Whitebeard saying, yo, you got me so many drinks, I owe you one. And Kaido excited about his doubtful, doesn't even care about the world in front of him. The same Kaido who, of course, we've seen him talking about Joy Boy and many things and how Joy Boy will be the one to defeat him and the top 5 characters. I'm telling you guys right now, yo, Oda, you gave me chills in this moment seeing them ride out for Rox. It's cool to see Rox didn't get left behind on this island. He had some loyal guys, and Kaido and Whitebeard, when it comes to loyalty, they shocked me. I didn't think they would be this loyal, if I'm being honest. And like I said, Roger, Garp, and Rox had this epic panel. I feel like these 3 guys are the main figures around this timeline, where they're shook of the Haki unleashed on God Valley by Imu, the GOAT. This just shows you, like, these guys in their young age are close to their prime, or maybe even prime. Rox, Roger, and Garp are some of the strongest characters of all time in the One Piece story, and they are completely shocked of Imu's Haki. And now we know Luffy's pretty much around these guys' levels where they're at right now. He has Gear 5, he has all of the advanced Haki. Luffy's around this level, if I'm being honest. He's not at this level right now, in my opinion, but he's around this level. And he is about to face Imu on Elbaf. It's like Oda is kind of giving us the end of the One Piece story through God Valley and showing us things that he would never show us before. I remember when seeing Roger and Whitebeard clash was so mind-boggling, and now we're seeing this. It is insane. And Roger says it isn't the time for the Rox Pirates after feeling Imu's Haki. Even Roger knows, yes, the Rox Pirates have Rox, Whitebeard, Shiki, Big Mom, Kaido, and among other monstrous characters. Imu is just a level beyond, and Roger knew he had to go lock in for this. I also found it very interesting how Garp was so mad about what he was witnessing on God Valley, seeing all the innocent civilians killed, and he asked Sengoku about it, and Sengoku said he heard some ramblings about a guy, but he went and got disappeared. And Garp was like, yo, this is not no dream, this is reality. Garp knows what he's witnessing right now goes against every justice he stands for, every morality he stands for. And he is so upset seeing this. And people have been dissing Garp this entire God Valley flashback, saying he's on the wrong side of history. But you have to understand, guys, don't forget, objectively, pirates are bad, Marines are good. Don't look at the world government. The world government in every civilization, even reality in the real world we live in, have been questioned. But when it comes to the Marines and pirates, they are the ones breaking the laws, and the Marines are the ones are keeping the laws intact. And Garp is a good guy. It's just that he is getting manipulated by a power that is beyond the curtains, which is Imbu, which is the Gorosei, which is the Holy Knights, which is Celestial Dragons, which he doesn't like. But Garp as a Marine is still going to protect civilians from pirates. So seeing civilians killed really upsetted him. And I don't hate Garp. People have been going off on Garp. I don't hate him. People have been going off on Roger. I don't hate him. It's just that Rox is just that goated that it makes you question Garp and Roger, knowing that they're going to be the ones that fight Rox. But I have a theory about that I'm going to make real soon, so stay tuned for that. I also want to talk about Rox running from Garling and his demon army with his father and grandma transform. His father looks to be wearing some sort of straw hat. Maybe this is connected to Joy Boy being a Davy Clan member. Maybe Rox is an inherited of Joy Boy, where Luffy is not, but just inherited his will. I'm not too sure where Oda's going with all this lore dump. But seeing Rox run, and then of course he has one arm only fighting, and it's pretty cool to see this moment, if I'm being honest, of Rox saving his girl and his kid Blackbeard, Marshall D. Teach. I wonder where Oda's gonna go with that plot line of course, Ares and Teach. Then of course Garling says Rox is strong as he has a huge wound on the top of his head. Reminded me of Whitebeard's wound on Marine 4. The only difference is Whitebeard couldn't regenerate and Garling could. And honestly, it takes a while for Garling to regenerate. That just shows how bad of how insane of a sword slash he hit Garling with, and how much hockey he has at the blunt sword slash. And I'm telling you guys right now, you guys think that Miyok wouldn't get hit by that same sword slash by Rox? Yes, Miyok is the greatest swordsman by skill, but there's just power that Rox has with that sword that is unmatched. And honestly, the Holy Knight woman looks to be happy that Rox has exposed himself as a Davy Clan member. And Imu hates that Davy Clan member a lot, if the Holy Knights know the implications there. And I can't wait to see how this is related to the Void Sentry, because we already have the Will of D and all the crazy stuff with Joy Boy, Nika, and the mural we saw in Elbaf. Now adding the Davy Clan, it just gets better and better as a One Piece fan. And can I say something guys right now? Ares is better than Shaki to me. Yes, Shaki is the woman that everyone desired on God Valley. But Ares, when she says don't protect me, if I can't even, she was a former pirate, and she says, I can't even protect my son. I am not worthy of you, Rox. And tells Rox to meet her at Leloucha. Of course, Leloucha is the area Imbu destroyed. I like her. She's her former pirate self. I like this character. And she says she'll even kill Teach and Suicide if she gets caught. Of course, she doesn't want to be a demon army, or doesn't want to get the pain that they're going to inflict on these two, knowing that they're related to Rox and their Davy Clan lineage. All I'm trying to say is Ares, she is one of my favorite characters in the story. She just wasn't just a love interest, yo. She was tough as nails. Then of course there's Rox. Rox does an insane Whitebeard level slash. Like the one, remember when Whitebeard slashed Marineford in half and told the Whitebeard pirates to go, as he was about to destroy Marineford by himself, and himself included as well. Yeah, Rox does the same thing where he cuts in half God Valley and says, you guys cannot go beyond this point. He says, I can't let you monsters keep going, as Garling is hyped to see Rox's next attack. So at least Garling is excited and hyped. Like, he does like the challenge of a fight. He's not a scrub. He's not a weakling. He's not a punk Celestial Dragon. He is a tough Celestial Dragon. I like that about Garling. But still, yeah, you're ready. But are you really ready for that, Rox? I also found it super cool how Oda is adding in more context. Like, we know Whole Cake Island and Wano was an arc that Big Mom was heavily centered around. So to see that she wanted Katakuri to be the Kaido in a sense, having that Azure Dragon Delafruit instead of the Mochi Mochi no Mi, and seeing Kaido how he stole it, he hit her with his Kanabu, his crazy club, he hit her in the face with it and grabbed the fruit and ate it so quickly. It was pretty funny, yo. Kaido knows that Big Mom is stronger than him in this moment, but still he had to go for it because he wanted that ability so badly, and Big Mom's anger was insane. I think there was a haki explosion from Big Mom. We know she has Conqueror's Haki coding. As it was pretty cool to see Big Mom wasn't overpowered. She just was she was sneak attacked and she kind of was outsmarted, which is kind of a theme of Big Mom. She gets a lot of times outgunned. A lot of people are outsmarting her in moments, even though she's stronger than them. So yeah, I found it cool how Oda implemented this, because we always thought Big Mom just gave it to Kaido and he ran away. Maybe Big Mom was wanted Kaido to join her crew. No, it wasn't that. She wanted Katakuri, her vice captain, to have it. And Katakuri becoming that strong, Conqueror's Haki coding, having awakened Mochi Mochi no Mi, Future Sight without Kaido's Delafruit. Imagine Katakuri had Kaido's Delafruit, yo. Man, that would be insane. I might have to make a video on that. And of course, I love the interaction we had when Ares and Dragon were both protecting Shanks and Blackbeard. It's obviously Oda's trying to hint at the destiny of these two characters, how they're going to clash at the end of Elbaf, because their fathers fought as well on God Valley. And it's a reverse through sons, as we all know that we're going to be rooting for Shanks, not Blackbeard. Also, Ares talking about Lelouch and the whole Sabo element there, and Dragon, and seeing Dragon save Shanks and Ares save Teach. Man, I love One Piece, man. This is just amazing. I also find it cool how Garp is just going off. Like, he's like, nothing makes sense here, even the justice. As fans been saying Roger and Garp are bad guys, and seeing that Garp even knows it shouldn't be this way and how it doesn't make sense, it's pretty cool to see. It shows you how Rox is looking like a good guy, not because of Rox is more of a better guy than Garp and Rogers. More so is the context that just paints the picture pretty bad. And we all know perception is reality, so that's why Roger, it doesn't matter, Roger and Garp are gonna get villainized by the fans because they're not gonna look through a different perspective. They're just not gonna do that. They're just gonna think, wow, this is not cool. Also found it pretty interesting how Shiki was protecting Rayleigh because he didn't want Shaki to be hurt. And all I'm thinking is, we all expected Shiki to fight Rayleigh. To see him protecting Rayleigh, man, Oda, you just keep on breaking our ankles, yo. We are not expecting what is gonna happen. It's the expect the unexpected right here. And man, I wanted to see Shiki fight. Honestly, Shiki had a cool moment with Kaido, Whitebeard, Big Mom, where they went off on the Rocks Pirates that were portraying him. But now Shiki is kind of being away from the moment. Now Big Mom as well. We know Big Mom and Shiki are the top commanders of Rocks. Rocks has Whitebeard as his vice captain level, Shiki as a third, and Big Mom as a fourth. But it's cool to see that Kaido is the one who's being the third after getting his Delphi, not Shiki and Big Mom. Maybe Oda is trying to hint that Kaido with his Delphi is on the path of surpassing Big Mom and Shiki, even though he isn't. We all know Shiki and Big Mom are stronger. We've seen what Shiki did during half a Marine Ford fighting Garp and Sengoku. But we know Big Mom is just a yonk of a monster. But Kaido has the potential to surpass these two. And I thought that was pretty cool how Oda put Kaido in that situation rather than Shiki and Big Mom. Even though it would have been cool to see Rocks, Whitebeard, and Shiki face the world. Honestly, I'm a Shiki fan, guys. You guys know where I stand with this. And I also found it cool how Rayleigh wanted to tell Shaki something, but she already knew. I think maybe it's about Rayleigh wanting to profess his love finally, or something completely different. Maybe because we know that Rayleigh and Shaki are still alive, as Roger, Whitebeard, Rocks are dead, and Garp is captured. I think maybe the fact that they're still alive and they just interacted with Blackbeard, Rocks' son, I think it would be pretty cool to see maybe Oda reveal it through their old age, and that would be, as a fan, a treat to see. Also found it pretty cool Big Mom grabbing Ivanka. We've seen this already during Egghead Island, but to see it again in a different perspective was cool. Of course, Ivanka had Kaido's Delphi. I mean, he had Kaido's Delphi. I got a little confused with the new Kenpo, but yeah, Ivanka had Kaido's Delphi, but Kuma ate his one, the Paw fruit, as Big Mom has been pretty much overpowering a lot of these top revolutionary commanders, from Dragon recently to now Ivankov and Kuma. Yeah, Big Mom, it just shows you how much of a legend she's been throughout the years, guys. Also, Silver Axe is getting beat up by a guy that looks like Marco on the Roger Pirates, and it's not even Roger, Rayleigh, or Gabon. Like, this guy is pretty much, he doesn't look as strong, especially when he got affected by Whitebeard's Delphi, even though Kaido, Whitebeard never got affected, and Shiki flew up. Yeah, he's Shiki's rival, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys right here. I don't think this is a rival. I think Shiki is above Silver Axe, and I think Silver Axe is kind of overrated, yo. Yes, that's my hot take. Seeing him in this moment, yeah, even if this happened to Shiki, I would have said he's overrated. Like, what is Silver Axe doing, guys? And I also want to talk about how Gabon is low diffing Gun Jui, who's mad that Roger Pirates are taking the treasure. He's an original Rocks Pirate, so he should be strong, but he's not like hyped up to be the top tier of the Rocks Pirates. But still, I like how Gabon is still low diffing him with his axe. Gabon is a top tier Roger Pirate. Oda's really showing some differences in interactions in the God Valley Island, if I'm being honest. And I also found it cool how Kuma was taking everyone's pain away. Like, we seen this during Egghead Island and the Kuma flashback. To see it again, and now the context of how he gave Zoro Luffy's pain and how that was such a negative moment in the Straw Hats history, and how context changed everything to his ability, how it could be used for such good moments. Yeah, it really shows you Kuma is one of the more polarizing characters in the One Piece story. And the final things I want to talk about is how the, of course, chapter began. It began pretty cool with Rocks clashing with Garling, and pretty much the Marines are like, yo, send backup, showing you that Rocks is always perceived as stronger than Garling. Yes, Garling is a strong character, but Rocks is perceived as a monster. And then, of course, we have Roger riding out for Rayleigh, saying, yo, go ahead, I'll deal with it. Yes, there's Marines in front of us. Yes, the Rocks pirates are behind us, but I will deal with it. Cool to see the captain saying that to the vice captain. And it shows that brotherly bond that Roger and Rocks have. Like, I mean, Roger and Rayleigh have. Even early on when they first joined the crew, I remember Roger's like, yo, Rayleigh, join me. Rayleigh's like, yo, get out of here. I wish to see a moment like this in the end of story as with Luffy and Zoro. That was super cool like this, guys. Because remember, Zoro did that for Luffy during Dressrosa when Pika tried to get involved. But yeah, I honestly, really good chapter. Thoroughly enjoyed it.